much further ado, let's jump into game number 2 between GrandNagus and SacredEmu. Let's see if SacredEmu can pull a game back from his Australian counterpart in 2 seconds time. We launch into the game to see how much of a real possibility that is, and welcome back everyone to game number 2 in this best of 5 series for the Australian Open. We are in Division B at the moment, spectating a Group 1 round 2 matchup between SacredEmu and GrandNagus. Now GrandNagus taking the previous match and therefore making the SacredEmu's home map, and he has gone ahead and he has chosen, in case you can't tell already, let's take the fog of war off and let you guys know that it is in fact an arena pick. So SacredEmu going for an arena pick as his home map of choice. Now let's introduce the players and let's see what we can see from their maps. Now over here toward the western area, or the left hand side of the map, playing in the blue, we do have GrandNagus, and his civilization that he has chosen is the Franks. Now it's quite interesting. We've seen a couple of Franks picks actually on arena games recently, or in the past couple of days, or the past week or so. And Franks have actually chosen, yeah, the Franks have been chosen quite a lot as well. What's the highest ELO player in this Australian Open? It's a really good question. I don't know what the highest ELO is for the Australian Open. I know Robo is like 1700, I think, on Voobly. I know Serpent is 1830. I'm not really sure about any of the other players. I think there's some 1700s and 1800s on Voobly standards, so pretty high up there, pretty strong players. And over here, down to the southern area of the map, playing in the red, we have SacredEmu, obviously the man who has chosen Arena as his home map of choice, and he has also gone ahead and chosen the Franks, which is quite interesting. So we have a Frank mirror matchup on Arena, which is again quite interesting because it was hidden civilization picks for this map. So both of these players choosing the Franks, and we'll have a little bit of a discussion about that after we've had a look at the maps for both of the players. Now looking at SacredEmu's map, and I feel a little bit for him. I do. He's chosen Arena thinking that he has a bit of an advantage over his opponent, or potentially just feels comfortable enough with the map to be able to put up a good fight. And unfortunately, his map has kind of kicked him in the face. We can see here that he does have his main gold, his secondary gold, and his third gold all out on the front of his base in the screen here that you can see in front of you. A castle drop coming in here from Nagus, for example, in this area would pretty much zone Emu off any of his golds, and obviously we normally see we often see in Arena as well that players do have a bit of a backyard into which they can boom and potentially find a few extra resources back there as well. Not this case, or not this time, this is not the case, as we can see that there is a bit of a backyard here for Emu, but unfortunately he does not have any extra resources, so if he gets zoned off gold at the front of his base here, he is going to be in a very difficult position to be able to to be able to pull back a victory here. His main stone out on the front of his base, as well as his secondary stone outside his walls. So again, all resources forward for our poor player from New Zealand, SacredEmu. Berries a little bit more protected and at the back of it, or towards the side of his base here, nice and safe. And Phoenix bringing up a very important point in the chat. He does have 5 deer back in this little backyard, but I can only imagine that he has not actually scouted back there quite just yet, and the answer to that is no. He has not scouted back here just yet. Does he know how crappy his map is in terms of his resources? Well, he knows that he has stones and golds out on the front. I wonder how that will play into his build order, into his strategy choice. For now, though, let's move over to GrandNagus and have a look at his map. Well, again, we can see that he does have a bit of a backyard into which he can boom. Unfortunately, he does not have his map hacks on, as he has only got 4 deer sitting at the back of his base, but he does have a stone towards the back in that area, as well as his main stone. Whereas his golds, well, he's got his main gold in a similar location to his opponent, pretty much right on the front of his base, and that's going to be quite easily harassable by any by any castles, any towers, or any ranged units, really. They're going to be able to put a lot of pressure on this area of GrandNagus' economy, and his final gold out here toward the northern area of his base. It's quite nice for him, though, fortunately enough for him, that he does have 3 relics. Emu is the highest elo at 1.4k. Or 14k 14k. Apparently Emu is 14k. Maybe he just is. Maybe he was rusty in the previous game. But Nagus does actually have 3 relics within reaching distance almost of his walls. And in fact, I correct myself now because he does have 4, and he has got his map packs on, at least in terms of relic positioning. So you can see he has 4 relics for him, for himself, and that's going to be really nice the longer this game goes on. Now, what sort of strategies could we be seeing for these two players? Well, let's have a quick look at Nagus' scouting to see if he has recognized that this is a potent area of of SacredEmu's economy that he could hit. And the answer to that is, well, he knows that there is gold out on the front here. He knows that there is stone out on the front. He knows that Emu also has stone towards the front of his base here. He doesn't know that there's another gold here, but if he brought his scout around, he would be able to scout that out quite easily. And in my opinion, he should be going for a castle drop, an offensive castle drop, and really putting the pressure on his opponent here. As I've mentioned before, this is a very key area of Emu's economy, and maybe he's recognizing that as well, as he has moved some villages out onto stone. Obviously, castle drops as Franks are very viable and very simple option compared to most other civilizations, owing to the fact that the Frankish castles do cost 488 stone, I believe, as opposed to the regular 650. So both of these players here are going to start booming up their economy, start getting their build orders geared towards what I can imagine will be a fast castle. Although in saying that, Nagus going up on 21 villages, or 22 population, and he moves 3 villages out to stone, and that is the most speculative amount of villages I've ever seen going up on a fast castle. But of course, he's probably not going to be doing a fast castle, as he hasn't lured any deer. He also has not thrown down any farms. Moving out to stone with 3 villages, are we going to see some sort of funky tower hop aggression into the base of SacredEmu? Well, I hope so, because that means that this game might not go as long as one might think, it being an arena matchup after all. SacredEmu still pulling ahead now. He's still in the Dark Age, still going ahead and queuing up some villages, utilizing that really quick Frankish gathering of berries and oversaturating the crap out of his forage bushes as he starts moving villages out to wood as well. Now looking to click up to the feudal age and then the castle age after that in a very short amount of time, I don't doubt. And here we can see a tower hop coming in for GrandNagus. And yes, I was muted for just a little bit as well. Franks don't gather berries faster in AOC. I thought they did gather berries faster in AOC. Let's have a quick look at the tech tree. Oh, look at that, they don't. Huh. Turns out I've been playing too much of that scrub platform HD. But we can see a tower hop coming in now, at least for GrandNagus, and this is going to be exciting. Is he going to go forward and keep trushing? Yes, he is. Why is Octagonal Dick not in the chat? He would be loving this. SacredEmu up to the feudal age now as well. And of course, it's kind of hard to get these villagers into the economy here using the tower hop, but Nagus will eventually get it done as he throws up a barracks. You Voob Elite. HD Craigisms? No HD Craigisms in the chat, please. We can see a barracks being thrown up now as well for GrandNagus. And what is the response here from SacredEmu? Well, he can't actually do this for the do any tower defense for the time being. He has gone up on 24 villages, therefore 25 population, and he's thrown down quite a few houses here. Is he expecting some sort of a Persian douche sort of strategy? Or is he just, no, he's just actually getting a crap ton of houses up as part of, or to go ahead and do the wall ups. Is that goddamn Robo here? I need to log a complaint. Good luck doing that. Robo loves me. He is not going to ban me for anything. And some really nice quick walls coming up here from our red player, the Kiwi SacredEmu. And we can see a stable having been thrown up inside of the base here as well. As well for GrandNagus. Unfortunately, his knights are going to find it, his scouts rather, going to find it a little bit difficult to be able to get into his opponent's economy, owing to the fact that, well, to be fair, these only have a little bit of HP. And look at that, the scouts can now get into the economy of his enemy. So what's he going to do? Hopefully queue up some scouts. Go. Queue up some scouts. Queue up some scouts. Do it. Do it. You don't actually have the food to queue up some scouts. What the hell is wrong with... well, I suppose he's only got 2 farms and not many berry gatherers at all. Is he going to continue round with a trush? Well, no, he's actually going for a bit of a 1 militia drush. The super strong 1 militia drush, but he's also allowed SacredEmu to wall up behind these weak walls. And why not throw down a tower? SacredEmu's doing it. He's doing it to protect his stone out here toward the front of his base. You could go ahead and do that as well. Oh, look at that. He did manage to get a villager in. Where the hell did she come from? Well, we can see she's palisading herself in. That's going to keep her nice and safe for a little bit of time anyway, at least until these villagers come over and start battering down this palisade wall. So I think we can safely say this villager here from GrandNagus is about to go down, and she's about to die quite quickly. Why Nagus is not following this up with anything else, any other towers or anything like that, I do not know. A second watchtower coming up in defense here for SacredEmu, and this is turning into a very anti-meta and a very, very messy game. Not at all what I was expecting to see from these two players at all. Have any scouts been queued up for Nagus? No. Have any extra units been queued up from the barracks for Nagus? Well, no. He is starting to seed a good number of farms back at his home though, or back at base, meaning that scouts will hopefully be able to come out very, very soon and start wreaking havoc inside of his opponent's economy. But for the time being, 30 villages it is to 27. SacredEmu doing a good job at holding on for the time being. A lot of watchtowers coming up in defense for him and walling them in with houses. Well, walling one of them in with houses means that he is going to be in a really nice spot, nice position to be able to push back this cheeky forward aggression from GrandNagus. And can he actually tree hop here? That could be something fun to see. Cut the tree down, place a palisade over it, and run in with your scouts. Although, is he even making scouts just yet? No, he's not, and that's a good opinion, or a good decision in my opinion, since at the moment scouts would just be setting back his hopefully eventual castle age time, and it would be a complete waste as the scouts can't actually get into his opponent's economy at all. The villager over here that Nagus did wall in manages to get picked off and brutally shot down by the by the ruthlessness of the villagers from SacredEmu. And now what are we seeing? We're seeing some stone walls coming up for SacredEmu here, just further solidifying or further protecting his economy and stopping any more aggression that could be coming in from Nagus as he decides to reverse tower hop. No, he doesn't. He's bringing his militia back into the fray, thinking, hey, maybe this militia can use his attack bonus against buildings to be able to take down one of these houses and give me an entranceway into my opponent's economy once I get into the castle age, which unfortunately is going to be quite some time for our blue player GrandNagus, and the same can kind of be said for Emu as well, sitting pretty on 32 villages and splitting his lumber camp. We can see a lot of stone walls coming in for Emu as well. It's a pity that that aggression did not pay off from GrandNagus, unfortunately. And Robo now appearing in the chat. Hello, Robo. But again, like I say, a lot of villagers heading out to stone here for Emu. Not a very big amount of farms coming up for him at all. Is it 6 farms? No, it's only 5 farms. Not even enough farms to keep villagers coming out of one town centre continuously, whereas his opponent GrandNagus is managing to throw up a good number of farms, seeding a good number of farms, and he'll be able to see himself into the castle age very, very soon, I don't doubt as well. And here we go, neither player getting up to the castle age yet, but again, more farms having been seeded and thrown down for Nagus, utilising the fact that Horse Collar is done for free for the Franks and getting himself a good amount of farms, a good amount of healthy, a good amount of upgraded farms, and again, he will be able to see himself into the castle age very, very soon. HD is superior in every way thanks to Steam. Praise Gavin. No, not at all. We can see a blacksmith being thrown down now as well for SacredEmu, and that begs the question, does Nagus actually have, does he have the buildings he needs? Well, he's also thrown down a blacksmith, and of course we know that he has a stable out on the front lines, so he, once the blacksmith has been constructed, will be able to click up to the castle age, and 30% left, he will be up to the castle age, and then it will be interesting to see what sort of aggression he goes for. Well, he can throw down, nearly able to throw down 2 castles actually. Obviously he's had 3 villages mining stone pretty consistently for the majority of his dark and feudal age build. So a couple of castle drops in here could be really, really strong for GrandNagus. SacredEmu, on the other hand, also nearly able to click up pardon me, to the castle age, and he will also be able to throw down a defensive castle to be able to stop his opponent's progression into his base. Once he is in the castle age, at least he will have the 488 stone necessary, and up he goes to the castle age as well. Unfortunately, sitting 10 villages behind his opponent, so the economy advantage heading pretty heavily in favor of GrandNagus, which is exactly what we saw in the previous game as well. I wonder if either of these players are even going to bother about going for relics. They didn't go for the relics in the previous game. Nagus just decided he was going to wipe out Emu's economy completely. And what are we seeing here? We are seeing instead that a good number of villages. Is that another tower hop? Oh, Nagus, you cheeky beaky boy. He has been found out though by the villagers here.
My anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, hun.
Thank you very much for the follow. He has been found out by these villagers here from SacredEmu, who are now pushing forward, looking like he wants to actually place an offensive castle and start zoning GrandNagus of some of his gold out on the front of his base. Of course, Nagus does have another gold out to the northern flank that he can take quite safely. But what's going on here? Well, Nagus has managed to get some villagers back, being a cheeky beaky boy, and managing to be able to get this watchtower up. But of course, SacredEmu walling up behind these 2 gates, meaning that even when Nagus gets this tower hop done, he's still not going to be able to advance into his opponent's base. But the castle age upgrade now having been researched for GrandNagus, and let's have a look where he places his castle. Well, he's placing a siege workshop on the front. He still has the stone for a castle. What is he going to do with it? Is he going to place it down? And if he is, where is he going to place it? I'm sorry, Pyro. I know that it's loud, but I'm not going to turn it down just yet. Micro walls coming up around the villages here. Around the villager rather, from GrandNagus, allowing her to freely build this forward siege workshop rather, and I can only imagine that we're going to be seeing some mangonels and or rams coming out of the siege workshop now as we see SacredEmu into the castle age. Where is he throwing his castle? Well, he's going awfully aggressive. He's going super aggressive with this. Nagus is very much aware of the funny business that he is, that his opponent is doing right now, and he's throwing up his castle in a defensive position. How many villages does each player have? Well, we have 5 villagers building 1 castle here for SacredEmu, and we have decisively more villagers coming in now as well for our blue player GrandNagus. So Nagus's castle is going to be up much before, or a long time before his opponents here, and this is going to be really good for him because he could even deny this castle coming up with fletching coming in from him now, as well as any other funky business going on. Well, this watchtower is about to go down. Both players' focus and their attention is directed towards the front lines of Nagus's base. And hello, Tomb, how are you doing? And the castle, just like that, denied. Bodkin arrow not even being necessary for our blue player GrandNagus here to deny this castle drop from SacredEmu. And just like that, Emu having lost a fair number of villages, 46 villages to 29, as we see another town centre having come up. At the back of of GrandNagus's base, so this villager lead is only going to be going up and up in favour of our blue player here. We don't see another town centre having been thrown down for SacredEmu, unfortunately. He now has to contend with the fact that he has a failed castle drop, and he also has a forward siege workshop from his opponent with which he has to deal with. Of course, the villagers are going to be able to do enough damage or get in and amongst the or up in the face here of these mangonels to be able to take them down. For the time being, we can see a stable coming up now for GrandNagus. A couple of knights, a couple of even some petardinos from the castle would be fantastic to see. And we can see a monastery coming up on the front lines here from from Emu. So it's almost as if he's doing a half-assed kind of, oh, you cheeky bastard. He can still get out. Okay, never mind. Emu trying to wall in the village there from GrandNagus, trying to deny. I mean, the stable was never going to be denied, but it would stop that villager getting out and doing any other funky or funny business. And now Nagus in danger of having his stable walled up, actually. Is there a knight coming out straight away from this stable? Let's have a quick look. Well, no, there is not. So there are stone walls, there are palisade walls, there is laming, there is cheekiness. There is cheekiness coming on from both of these players. Anything else happening, really? Well, the answer to that is no. Wheelbarrow coming in now for GrandNagus, and he's thrown up his third town centre too, which is good to see from him. He's not neglecting his economy in amongst all of this, pressure, and amongst all of this aggression, and he can quite easily delete these palisade walls to get this villager free. Any knights coming out? Yep, there's one knight coming out, so this villager... Oh, Jesus. The knight coming out in the most unfortunate position there for GrandNagus. Unfortunately, the gather point not quite set as effectively as he needed it to be. And for the time being, that knight is going to be stuck. It's going to be a sitting duck inside those annoying stone walls from SacredEmu. A couple of villages and a castle still working their way, still working and getting this castle down, and another knight actually getting stuck as well. What is Nagus doing? That's a waste of resources right now. Two knights that he can't actually use, throwing up an extra stable instead, thinking, hey, there's no way I can actually get knights out of this stupid bloody stable. Let's throw up another one. SacredEmu coming forward and stonewalling in the forward siege workshop from GrandNagus as well, aware to it potentially, as we can see another mangonel coming out, and this mangonel should be out in a good enough time to be able to strike down this villager and stop the stone walls continuing to come up. But again, not Psycho Games. Psycho Games is definitely one word for it. Anti-meta, I think, is a very good way to do it as well. And is that a third knight? A third knight that has actually been stuck behind these enemy walls here. Or, yeah, I suppose behind these enemy walls. And Mangonel from GrandNagus has now come out. For some reason, he's letting this villager live. One huge Mangonel shot on this villager, and he is going to be having a little bit of fun 6 feet under. Instead, Nagus moves out to start taking down these villagers that are starting to cheekily mine some gold. And what do we see? Well, we see some petards. We see 4 petards coming out across the map. 4 petards, a little bit of overkill if you only want to punch through one layer of stone wall. Castle, yeah, the Castle Age research, of course, has been researched here, or has been completed for SacredEmu, who is in danger of having his monastery go down. He could just delete his palisade. He could delete his palisade, then he's only got other palisades to get through. And we can see a bit of an overkill, and Nagus for some reason wanting to take down a crap ton of stone walls, not just one piece, as is what you would normally see when you petard into someone's base. But now the knights, the +1 and quote-unquote bloodline knights from the Franks, in and amongst the gold miners, in and amongst the economy here of SacredEmu. And just like that, the 38 villager deficit that he currently has, or that he currently sees himself in, is only going to be increasing more and more. Unless these knights do decide to go ahead and take down this mining camp instead. Now an extra stable being thrown down on the front lines as well for GrandNagus, and he's still only, well, I say only, but he's still on 3 town centres for the time being. I don't see him wanting to go up on any extra town centres. His economy is really starting to flourish. He's got a good number of farms having been seeded, having been thrown down, and he will be looking to get to the Imperial Age very, very soon, or in the next, he will be looking to get to the Imperial Age as soon as he can. I don't think Franks need to be buffed with bloodlines. Yes, I can totally agree with that. Another town centre now having been thrown up in the back of SacredEmu's base, with another one just within arm's reach. Chain barding armor for the +2 defense coming in on the knights now for GrandNagus, meaning that these knights are pretty much not going to give tuppence or care tuppence about the arrow fire from the town centres, especially since these town centres do not have fletching or bodkin arrow on them. They are just going to be shrugging those town centre fire, or those town centre arrows off like it's absolutely nothing. A couple of villagers coming forward with a forward siege workshop inside of the economy here of SacredEmu, who at the moment is going ahead and successfully walling out his opponent. This is something that Nagus has let happen in the previous game as well. And again, SacredEmu looking like he wants to be a bit cheeky and start walling in these villages here from GrandNagus. Nagus not being caught unawares. He was not born yesterday, and he's starting to move his village just around just a little bit, such that he can continue to build this forward siege workshop, get out a couple of battering rams. Alright, so we know exactly what the attitude of Nagus is at the moment. He wants to get this game over and done with. You know what they say, mangonels to pressure, rams to finish, and out come the rams with another forward siege workshop as well for GrandNagus. Unfortunately, only 4 knights does Nagus have inside of the economy here, pardon me, of SacredEmu, but with a couple of mangonel shots placed on this weak or partially built wall, he would be in a good spot to be able to bust open a bigger hole, or maybe just build a stable inside the base as well. I want these, 212 HP paladins. That would be a little bit overpowered, I would say. Villager lead still definitively and conclusively in favour of GrandNagus here. Is he nearly up to the Imperial Age? Well, in terms of the food, he definitely is. In terms of the gold, he definitely isn't. He doesn't have that many villagers out on the gold, unfortunately, and I guess sinking quite a few resources, quite a bit of gold into military production, into knights, into rams, into mangonels, means that he is going to be a little bit delayed, throwing up a market on the front lines. Never underestimate the power of the forward market, ladies and gentlemen. He will be able to buy his way up to the Imperial Age very, very soon as well, into which he can get, for example, bombard cannons and hand cannons, unit composition, and army mixture that SacredEmu will be only too happy to not see again. But here we go. Here comes the ram train. 4 rams coming forward for GrandNagus. Here is Emu throwing up hastily rushing up a couple of defensive barracks in the sort of midst of his economy here. Unfortunately, the barracks are not going to be coming up in time to be able to save this town centre, and they might not even be coming up in time to save either of these other 2 town centres either. So 5 rams even coming in now for GrandNagus. No more on the way, at least for the time being, but 1 TC has gone down. These villagers have not managed to get these barracks up, and that was really all that SacredEmu had to try and defend against these knights, to defend against these mangonels, and to defend against these rams that are pushing into his base. But there we go, he managed to get one of the barracks up, and unfortunately he's still going to have his second one denied. No villagers in sight to be able to take down this, to be able to garrison inside this town centre. But the pikeman upgrade now coming in for Emu as well, meaning that he can at least get out something that could potentially tickle away at these wee knights. And good God, I hope that Emu doesn't go ahead and start building town centres elsewhere on the map. But it looks like he may not be interested in doing that for the time being, since he is walling up this part of his economy here, recognising the fact that he has actually overchopped in this area here, such that knights could come straight through into his economy. But just like that, 1 town centre down, another town centre down, and now the market being pounded on, being absolutely crushed and battered away by these rams from GrandNagus as well. Not really much else going on the map, to be honest. Another forward town centre coming up. He could do a castle. Emu's got nothing. He could do a castle, yes. I mean, at this stage in the game, it is definitely GG. And Emu, is he evacuating? Oh, for the love of God. Emu is evacuating once again, and I hope that Nagus sends some knights out here and stops him building more town centres. Otherwise, this game is just going to drag on superfluously long. But it's okay, because Emu doesn't actually have the amount of stone that he needs to be able to throw up another town centre. And now having as well, oh, nice quick wall from Emu though. And now also having lost his market, doesn't have a means by which he can get any stone. Well, I suppose he can come out here to start mining this stone. It is going to be under fire of this watchtower here from GrandNagus, and Emu, recognizing that, comes over to start battering it down with his villagers. Now, what else is going on? Well, another blacksmith. All right, another blacksmith being thrown up here for SacredEmu, as his villager count drops down to 28, and we see 117 population to the 28 in favour of GrandNagus. And once again, this is looking very much over, and I find myself wondering, where is Flatch to ask for Emu to potentially just resign and maybe not drag this game on any longer than it needs to go on for. Watchtower actually being taken down though from GrandNagus on the corner of Emu's map. And now Emu might be able to mine some stone safely. He's, to be fair, he's nearly there. He can nearly throw it. There we go. Now we can throw down an extra town centre. I can only imagine that Emu is going to be going ahead and doing that as well. The only question is, where is he going to be building it? Please, dear Lord, don't tell me he's going to be building it on the front lines here. I got a wee bit of a tower up. That's nice for him. Slowly, it's going to be able to start whittling away and taking down the stable. But again, where is this this town centre going to be put? Where is it going to be placed for Emu? He's not going to waltz into his opponent's base once again. Oh, there's a stable. Good lord, I didn't see that. There is a stable inside the economy here from GrandNagus, and how has Nagus not spotted this? That's taken me far too long. He's seen the stable. He knows exactly what's going on, and he has done nothing about it. And a forward market, once again, the forward market from GrandNagus has shown to be a very effective and potent strategy, and Emu thinking, hey, I might give that strategy a go as well. So he plonks down a market. Still no knights or anything coming out of this stable. Obviously he doesn't have any food income. He doesn't have any farms left from which he is gathering food. He does have a crap ton of villagers that have just died on the stone mine from the mangonel and knights of GrandNagus, but for the time being, Nagus building a castle, Emu selling quite a lot of resources, and he's thrown down a castle of his own. This is a ballsy move. It's a castle drop inside the base of your opponent. He's already tried one castle drop and it's failed monumentally. Is he going to be able to pull off? Is he going to be able to successfully complete the second castle? Well, Nagus is going forward, and is he building a castle inside of his opponent's base? Where is Nagus actually building this castle? Seems like he doesn't care or doesn't realize that there is a castle coming in here either. Deleting all of his houses, now he bloody well realizes, still has the resources to throw down another castle. Where the hell was he building his first one? I can't actually see it. He's building it out here towards the right hand side of the base, as he brings pretty much all of his villages off all of his economy lines on the right hand side of his economy here to build this castle. And once again, Nagus does indeed have the villager numbers that he needs to be able to get this castle up. Not to mention that should the castle from Emu actually go up here, then it will be taken down a lot quicker, owing to the fact that Bodkin Arrow has been researched for our blue player GrandNagus, who now on completing the castle is going up to the Imperial Age. This castle here from SacredEmu having been denied, and with that I think it could be a bit of a GG call, and indeed I am correct, as SacredEmu recognizes the situation and bows out of the second game here. So well done to GrandNagus as he takes game number 2. This best of 5 series between these two players for the Australian Open. So what we'll do is we'll come out of the game, switch back the scenes, and I'll see you guys very, very soon for game number 3.